In the deep, forgotten chambers of the prehistoric oceans, where the sunlight could never reach and the water grew colder with every fathom, a giant once ruled with silent dominance. A predator so enormous, so mysterious, and so powerful that even time itself has bowed in reverence to its legacy. This is not just the tale of a shark, it is the echo of an ancient titan, a sea-born shadow whose very name stirs awe, the Megalodon. The Megalodon was no ordinary fish. Its name means giant tooth, and that alone should tell you how it lived and hunted. Imagine a beast longer than a bus, with jaws that could crush a car, and teeth as big as a grown man's hand. Yet, there was a grace in its terror, a kind of underwater ballet of power and precision. It didn't just swim, it ruled. And its empire was the endless blue of Earth's primeval seas. Millions of years ago, somewhere between 20 to 3.6 million years in the past, the Megalodon was born in the warm coastal waters of what we now call the Miocene and Pliocene epochs. Earth was alive with transformation. Volcanoes erupted, continents shifted, and the oceans teemed with giant marine life. It was during this time that a super predator emerged from the evolutionary depths. It didn't hatch with a roar, nor did it arrive with fireworks. It began, as all creatures do, small and unaware. But what set it apart was destiny. Even as a pup, the Megalodon was already larger than most adult sharks today. Nature had given it the tools for supremacy, a body built for speed, jaws lined with serrated razors, and instincts tuned to perfection. Let's pause to picture the Megalodon, not just as a shark, but as a living mountain. Estimates suggest it could grow up to 60 feet long, maybe even more. That's nearly 3 times longer than the great white shark, the largest predatory shark alive today. Its body was thick and muscled, its fins like wings slicing through the water, and its head, oh its head, massive, wide and crowned with a grin full of death. But what truly made the Megalodon a marvel wasn't just its size, it was the silence with which it swam. Like a ghost in the abyss, it glided effortlessly, undetected by prey until it was far too late. This silent grace, combined with brute force, made it nature's most exquisite killer. Imagine a single bite with a force of 40,000 pounds per square inch. That's the power of the Megalodon's jaws. With that kind of crushing strength, it could snap a whale's spine like it was a toothpick. And that's not just dramatic imagery, it's reality. Fossilized whale bones have been found with the signature bite marks of a Megalodon, evidence of its brutal efficiency. Its teeth, shaped like daggers and lined with serrated edges, were designed not just to puncture, but to shred. A single tooth could reach 7 inches in length, and some individuals may have had over 250 teeth in their mouths at once. These weren't teeth, they were weapons. And they weren't used to chew, they were used to annihilate. Megalodon didn't rule a corner of the sea, it reigned over the entire globe. From the warm Atlantic waters to the Pacific's deep trenches, its presence was felt in every ocean. Fossils of its teeth have been found on every continent except Antarctica, a testament to its universal dominance. But the Megalodon wasn't just a cold-blooded monster, it was a product of a rich, dynamic ocean. It shared its world with giant sea turtles, ancient whales, and fearsome squids. It was part of a marine symphony where every creature played its role. And in that vast blue stage, the Megalodon was the thunderous drumbeat that dictated the rhythm of life and death. What could possibly challenge a Megalodon? The answer lies in its choice of prey. Unlike modern sharks that go after fish and smaller mammals, the Megalodon hunted whales. Yes, full-sized whales, some as long as 50 feet. These weren't peaceful chases. These were wars under the waves. Paleontologists believe the Megalodon used ambush tactics, striking from below, aiming for the belly or fins to cripple its prey. Once a whale was injured, the shark would circle like a vulture, waiting for the perfect moment to deliver a final fatal bite. These battles were violent, fast, and final. The ocean floor surely holds the bones of many a fallen titan, marked by the curved blade of a Megalodon tooth. But every empire must face its end. As powerful as the Megalodon was, it could not outswim change. Around 3.6 million years ago, the Earth began to cool. Ice ages approached. Ocean currents shifted. The warm, shallow seas that the Megalodon loved began to disappear, and with them went the smaller whales and seals that made up its diet. Meanwhile, new predators entered the scene, like the modern orca and the great white shark. Sleeker, smarter, and better suited to the changing waters, these newcomers began to outcompete the Megalodon in certain regions. The king of the ocean, once unmatched, found itself cornered by time and transformation. No one witnessed the last Megalodon. It didn't die with a bang, nor was there a final dramatic hunt. Instead, the Megalodon simply faded. Its numbers dwindled, its world shrank, and eventually it disappeared. Its massive bones and fossilized teeth were all that remained, buried beneath sediment, waiting to be discovered by future hands. But its spirit never truly left us. Today, the Megalodon lives on in our imaginations, in books, in movies, in stories whispered by divers who think they've seen something too big, too fast, and too silent to explain. It has become more than a shark. It has become a legend. From Hollywood films like The Meg to countless documentaries and novels, the Megalodon has become a staple of oceanic mythology. It represents the wild unknown, the possibility that somewhere in the darkest trench or unexplored cave, it might still be watching, waiting. Why are we so obsessed with it? Perhaps because the Megalodon embodies something ancient in us, the fascination with power, the mystery of the deep, and the longing to believe that giants still walk or swim among us. It's a symbol of nature unbound, untamed, and untouched by time. Megalodon's teeth are not just fossils, they're time machines. Every groove, every serration tells a story of feeding habits, growth, and environment. Scientists study them to understand not just how the Megalodon lived, but how the oceans themselves have changed over millennia. Some theories even suggest that Megalodon teeth help map ancient sea temperatures and migratory patterns. That means every tooth is more than a remnant of a predator. It's a window into an ancient world. A single fossilized tooth, polished by time, can reveal the secrets of an entire ocean that no longer exists. This is the question that sends shivers down spines. Could a Megalodon have survived, lurking in the unexplored depths of the ocean, beyond the reach of light and sonar? It's a seductive thought, and while science says it's unlikely, imagination is far less limited. The ocean is vast, deep, and largely uncharted. There are trenches so deep that light never touches them, and creatures so bizarre we can hardly believe they're real. So is it truly impossible, or just improbable? The Megalodon may be extinct, but the mystery it left behind swims on. The Megalodon wasn't just a random spark of nature. It was the product of millions of years of evolution, honing the perfect apex predator. Its lineage can be traced back through ancient sharks like Otodus and even further into the dark waters of prehistory, where primitive sharks roamed long before the dinosaurs ever took their first step on land. Evolution gave the Megalodon everything it needed: supreme speed, bone-crushing power, and a deadly intelligence finely tuned for survival. But unlike creatures that change rapidly to meet new conditions, the Megalodon remained mostly unchanged for millions of years. Why? Because it didn't need to change. It was already perfect for its time. This evolutionary stillness is a sign not of stagnation, but of absolute mastery. When a creature is so good at what it does, nature simply lets it be. If you ever found yourself floating in the ancient oceans, surrounded by the quiet hum of marine life, and suddenly the water seemed to grow colder, thicker, more still, that might have been the moment before the Megalodon struck. Its power was not in noise or chaos. Its power was in silence. It likely hunted, using stealth, slipping through the water with barely a ripple, a massive shadow that swallowed the light. One moment, the ocean was calm. The next, a geyser of blood and bone burst upward as the Megalodon ended another life in one flawless move. This silence, this chilling elegance is what made it so terrifying. It didn't need to roar. It only needed to exist. Many ancient whales met their end before they even knew what hit them. A sudden blast from beneath, an explosion of force, a flash of serrated white. The Megalodon's jaws were not just tools, they were weapons of ultimate efficiency. It didn't waste energy with drawn-out battles. Instead, it struck once with devastating power, crushing ribs, severing spines, and ending the fight before it began. Whales the size of buses would suddenly be floating corpses, bleeding into the sea as the Megalodon circled back for its feast. These weren't just kills, they were executions, cold, calculated, and merciless. That's why the Megalodon wasn't just a predator, it was a force of nature. For all its strength, the Megalodon was also protected by a body built like a fortress. Its thick skin and muscular frame made it resistant to attacks from other marine creatures, even during the rare scuffles with rival predators. Its internal skeleton, made of cartilage like all sharks, was lighter than bone but still incredibly strong, allowing it to move with surprising speed despite its size. Its body was shaped like a living torpedo, streamlined, balanced, and hydrodynamic. It could chase down swift prey, burst upward in ambush, or glide effortlessly through the depths for hours. The Megalodon wasn't clumsy or slow. It was agile and precise, an underwater missile guided by hunger and instinct. Like modern sharks, the Megalodon likely needed to keep moving to breathe. Its gills required a constant flow of water to extract oxygen, so rest wasn't an option. But this constant motion wasn't a burden, it was a rhythm, a heartbeat beneath the waves, a dance that never ended. It swam through oceans like a shadow of fate, never resting, always moving, always watching. Its very existence was a testament to the energy of life. Even sleep, if it occurred, was likely a semi-conscious drift through the deep, one eye open, always alert. This endless movement connected it to the pulse of the planet itself. Fossil finds across the world have painted a picture of the Megalodon's realm. From the east coast of North America to the coasts of Africa, Europe, and Australia, its teeth have been unearthed in sediments that were once part of ancient seas. Each location tells a story of migration, hunting, and dominance. Scientists believe the Megalodon followed its prey, migrating with the seasons, chasing whales across continents. It used ancient sea routes that no longer exist, navigating through vast oceans with unerring precision. It may have even given birth in shallow, protected bays, nurseries for the next generation of giant hunters. These quiet coves, once filled with baby megalodons the size of modern sharks, are now fossil-rich treasure troves. But in the end, even the mighty Megalodon could not defeat its greatest enemy: change. The cooling of Earth's climate began to alter ocean temperatures, currents, and ecosystems. Many of its favorite prey species either went extinct or migrated to colder waters where the Megalodon could not survive. At the same time, rising competition from faster, more adaptable predators began to strain its dominion. Great white sharks, smaller and more efficient, began to thrive in areas where the Megalodon once ruled. Orcas, with their pack-hunting tactics and high intelligence, rose in dominance as the seas changed. Eventually, the balance tipped. The king was dethroned not by battle, but by the slow grind of time and transformation. Nature didn't kill the Megalodon with a sword. It took its crown with a whisper. Today, all that remains are the fossilized teeth, millions of them, scattered across beaches, buried in rock, resting in museum cases. These teeth are more than souvenirs. They are pieces of the Earth's memory. Every child who holds one feels the weight of ancient oceans in their hand. They are reminders of a time when monsters swam freely, when survival meant more than strength, and when the sea had secrets no man could even dream of. Some of these teeth are blackened by time, polished, smooth by centuries of waves. Others still shine with a pearly gleam, as if the Megalodon might return to claim them. The story of the Megalodon isn't just about fear or fascination, it's about balance. It teaches us that no matter how strong, how perfect, how dominant a creature is, nothing lasts forever. Even the apex predator must eventually bow to the slow, patient hands of evolution and climate. It also reminds us that nature never stops sculpting, never stops refining. The Megalodon's disappearance cleared the path for new species, new ecosystems, and new stories. Its legacy didn't end, it evolved. For scientists, the Megalodon is an eternal question. For artists, it's a muse of mystery and majesty. For storytellers, it is a chapter that will never close. And for the curious hearts of today, the Megalodon sparks the deepest question of all. What else waits beneath the waves? This ancient beast continues to stir the imagination, not because of what we know, but because of what we don't. That empty space between fact and fantasy is where the Megalodon swims forever. So close your eyes and picture it again. Beneath you, far below the shimmer of the sunlight, deeper than the coral gardens and the whale calls, lies a stillness. And then, in that stillness, a shadow moves. A flash of white, a trail of bubbles, a silence so heavy it hums. Something old, something enormous, something that once ruled this planet without mercy. That was the Megalodon. Not just a shark, not just a fossil, but a roaring truth of nature's past, sleeping now in silence, remembered forever in awe.